What if I told you that everyday essentials like baking soda, vinegar, and even toilet paper could be gone from your local store? Not next year, but this week. It's not panic. It's happening right now across the US in 2026. In this video, I'm breaking down the 15 must-have items quietly disappearing from shelves, why it's happening, and how smart preppers are staying ahead. Trust me, you'll want to hear about number 7. It's already being rationed in some states. Don't forget to subscribe and share your local shortages in the comments to help others stay prepared. 1. The hidden power of pantry staples. That unassuming white box of baking soda you grab for baking cookies or keeping your fridge fresh is becoming a surprisingly scarce commodity. Across the United States, what was once a cheap and abundant staple is now quietly disappearing from store shelves. Since the latter part of 2024, its price has surged by an alarming 27%. If you walk into a major retailer like a Walmart in Chicago or a Kroger in Atlanta today, you're more likely to find an empty space on the shelf than a box of baking soda. This isn't a random occurrence. It's a direct result of significant logistical failures. Widespread rail strikes have severely disrupted the supply chain, choking off the transport of sodium bicarbonate, the raw material for baking soda, from its primary production facilities to distributors and retailers. This bottleneck has created a ripple effect, leading to shortages that are catching many households completely off guard. What most people fail to appreciate is that baking soda's value extends far beyond the kitchen. In a crisis or emergency scenario, it transforms into a multi-purpose survival tool. When access to over-the-counter medications is limited, a simple half teaspoon of baking soda mixed in water can provide rapid relief from acid indigestion, acting as an effective makeshift antacid. Its utility as a cleaning and deodorizing agent is equally impressive. You can use it to eliminate stubborn odors from boots, freshen up musty storage areas, or combat mold growth in damp corners of your home. Furthermore, during a food shortage where essentials like yeast are unavailable, baking soda becomes crucial for leavening, allowing you to bake quick breads and stretch your precious flour supply. Unlike complex and expensive prepper gadgets, the baking soda is incredibly cost-effective and has an almost indefinite shelf life when stored in a dry, airtight container. The strategic move for anyone paying attention is to bypass the increasingly unreliable grocery stores, where purchase limits are already being implemented. Instead, head to restaurant supply outlets or warehouse clubs like Sam's Club. These locations are still selling it in large quantities, from 5 to 25-pound bags, often at a much lower cost per ounce. By securing a bulk supply and storing it properly, you are adding a versatile, life-simplifying resource to your stockpile that can outlast nearly any disruption. 2. The unsung hero of household preservation. That simple, inexpensive bottle of distilled white vinegar, often relegated to the cleaning aisle, is another essential item that is rapidly vanishing from sight. Its demand has skyrocketed, with household use jumping by a staggering 43% in late 2025. This surge isn't driven by a fleeting social media trend. It's a pragmatic response from people using it for food preservation, surface disinfection, and as a tool to stretch household budgets amid soaring grocery costs. From Texas to Maine, retail stores are reporting frequent stockouts, and many have resorted to limiting customers to a single bottle per purchase. The sudden rush is directly linked to its incredible versatility and reliability in uncertain times. As unpredictable weather patterns lead to longer and more erratic harvest seasons, home canning has become more prevalent. With bleach becoming increasingly difficult to find, vinegar has emerged as the preferred, a non-toxic agent for ensuring food is safely prepared for long-term shelf storage. However, its utility extends far beyond pickling and preserving. A simple solution of vinegar and water creates a powerful, streak-free cleaner for windows and glass surfaces. For those who work with tools, soaking rusted metal parts in vinegar overnight can restore them to a like-new condition. In the aftermath of a flood or a prolonged power outage, it can be used to effectively kill mildew and prevent mold from taking hold in damp environments. When other supplies become scarce, it can even serve as a natural fabric softener or a clarifying hair rinse. Unlike many commercial sanitizers and chemical cleaners, vinegar is non-toxic, completely biodegradable, and remarkably affordable, if you can find it. The smartest approach is to look beyond the small, overpriced bottles at the grocery store. Warehouse clubs and farm supply stores are your best bet, as they often sell gallon jugs at a significantly lower price per ounce. To ensure its longevity, store the vinegar in a cool, dark place, as light and heat can degrade its acidity over time. Stored correctly, it can remain effective for years, even decades. In a scenario where access to clean water, safe food, and basic hygiene products is compromised, distilled white vinegar becomes more than just a condiment or cleaner. It becomes a quiet lifeline that most people will overlook until it is far too late. 3. The overlooked lifeline in your pantry. The powdered milk of today bears little resemblance to the chalky, unpalatable substance you might recall from the past. Modern formulations are smooth, fortified with essential vitamins, and reconstitute to a consistency that is nearly indistinguishable from fresh milk, particularly the full-fat versions. This improved quality has not gone unnoticed, and powdered milk is now flying off store shelves at an unprecedented rate. The catalyst for this sudden demand was a series of record-breaking freezes in late 2025 that devastated dairy herds across key states like Wisconsin and Texas. The subsequent disruption to fresh milk production and distribution created a significant gap in the market. As fresh milk deliveries slowed to a trickle in dozens of states, grocery chains were forced to ration dairy products. Powdered milk, once largely ignored by the average consumer, quickly became a critical household staple. In just 1 year, its price has surged by over 31%, and major retailers now commonly restrict customers to 2 cans per purchase. For the prepared individual, however, this trend is not a reason to panic, but a clear signal to act. Powdered milk is an immensely practical solution for ensuring a stable source of dairy and vital nutrients during an emergency. When packaged correctly in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and stored in a cool, dry place, it can last for 15 to 25 years. This makes it an invaluable resource for everything from children's breakfasts and baking to fortifying soups and sauces with extra protein and calories. Its lightweight, compact nature also makes it an ideal choice for those with limited storage space, such as urban apartment dwellers, or for inclusion in a bug-out bag. A wise prepper in Minnesota shared that she transitioned her entire family to using powdered milk after a basement flood destroyed her canned goods supply, and she now maintains a rotating 6-month stockpile without anyone noticing a difference. When stocking up, prioritize full-fat or whole milk powders. They offer superior taste, mixability, and a higher calorie count for sustained energy. Avoid the cheaper store brands that often contain fillers, as they tend to clump and have a shorter shelf life. The time to act is now. While warehouse clubs like Costco still offer multi-can packs, when the supply trucks stop rolling, that unassuming can on your shelf could be the key to maintaining a sense of normalcy. 4. The essential mineral we're forgetting. Now, while gourmet sea salts and exotic Himalayan pink crystals have captured the public's imagination, the humble container of iodized table salt is the quiet hero that is steadily disappearing from American pantries. This trend is far more dangerous than most people realize. Iodine is not a nutritional luxury. It is an essential micronutrient, particularly during a long-term crisis where access to a varied diet is compromised. Your thyroid gland depends on a steady supply of iodine to function correctly, regulating everything from metabolism and energy levels to cognitive function. Without it, individuals can suffer from fatigue, unexplained weight gain, and a decline in mental clarity over time. Recognizing this growing vulnerability, the Emergency Food and Nutrition Task Force, EFTA, recently issued an alert, warning that the vast majority of non-iodized salts, including most gourmet and bulk sea salts, will not protect against iodine deficiency if the fresh food supply is disrupted for an extended period. Despite this warning, an estimated 22% of urban grocery stores are now rationing iodized salt due to persistent bottlenecks at mineral processing plants, leaving shelves empty for weeks at a time. Most consumers are unaware that iodized salt's benefits go far beyond nutrition. It is a fundamental component of food preservation, drawing out moisture to prevent spoilage. It is also highly effective at melting ice on frozen walkways and can be used as a mild antiseptic to clean minor wounds when medical supplies are scarce. A small amount dissolved in water creates a basic saline rinse for nasal passages or irritated eyes. It is fortified with iodine specifically as a public health measure, and ironically, that is a key reason for its current scarcity. Experienced preppers are not wasting their resources on fancy, expensive salts. They are discreetly purchasing large, 5-pound boxes of plain iodized salt from discount grocers and restaurant supply stores. When stored in an airtight container, away from moisture, which can cause it to clump and degrade, iodized salt will remain effective for years. One homesteader in Kentucky makes it a point to include it in her emergency broth recipes, not just for taste, but to ensure her family's metabolic health remains stable during harsh winter power outages. Don't wait until iodine deficiency becomes a trending topic. By then, it will be too late to secure this vital mineral. 5. The tiny tool with massive utility. Rubber bands may seem like trivial office clutter, but their absence during a major disruption can create a cascade of frustrating and significant problems. These simple elastic loops are becoming increasingly hard to find on retail shelves across the nation. The reason for this shortage isn't consumer hoarding. It's a massive surge in industrial and agricultural demand. Modern farms use them by the thousands to bundle fresh produce like asparagus and leafy greens for market. Logistics and shipping companies rely on them to secure packages and organize shipments, with agricultural demand reaching an all-time high in late 2025 to cope with supply chain shifts. The supply available for regular consumers has been squeezed dramatically. Online listings for standard rubber band sizes on platforms like Amazon dropped by nearly 40% last December, and office supply stores have begun to limit bulk purchases, reserving their stock for commercial clients. However, a well-prepared individual understands the profound utility of this simple item. Rubber bands are perfect for securely sealing opened bags of rice, oats, coffee, and other dry goods, protecting them from pests and spoilage. They can be used for makeshift repairs, holding together a broken backpack strap or securing a splint. They are invaluable for organization, allowing you to bundle firewood, color code, and mark rotation dates on canned goods, or even serve as a windlass in an emergency first aid kit to apply pressure with a tourniquet. They weigh virtually nothing, cost pennies, and take up almost no space, but yet their absence can lead to constant minor failures that compound stress in a crisis. One urban prepper from Detroit recounted how he saved his entire bean harvest during a prolonged power outage. When his vacuum sealer failed, he used rubber bands to tightly seal his Mylar bags, preventing moisture and pests from ruining his food supply. The strategic solution is to ignore the small, expensive packs sold at drugstores and checkout counters. Instead, seek out 1 to 5 pound bulk bags of mixed sizes from restaurant supply stores, farm co-ops, or wholesale clubs. Store them in a cool, dark drawer, as prolonged exposure to light and heat will make the rubber brittle and useless. When your duct tape runs out and a critical piece of gear breaks during a storm, that humble loop of elastic might just be the one thing that holds your world together. 6. The medicine cabinet crisis. Pain management essentials. Most of us take the ability to manage pain for granted. A headache strikes, and we reach for a bottle of ibuprofen. A fever spikes, and acetaminophen is right there in the cabinet. However, in early 2026, this comfort is being stripped away as major pharmacies across the United States face critical shortages of over-the-counter pain relievers. We are seeing frequent out-of-stock tags where bottles of aspirin and naproxen used to sit. Even when stock is available, prices have surged by as much as 35% in some regions, making basic healthcare significantly more expensive for the average family. This isn't just a local logistics hiccup, it is a global supply chain fracture. China, which has historically been the world's primary supplier of active pharmaceutical ingredients, APIs, tightened its export controls significantly in late 2025. This move, driven by their own domestic shortages and shifting regulatory landscapes, has left Western markets scrambling to fill the void. The implications for preparedness are severe. The Emergency Food and Nutrition Task Force, EFTA, recently issued a drug shortage watch alert, highlighting a sobering reality. Relief for common ailments like sprains, toothaches, or high fevers could become a luxury during extended emergencies. Pain management is not merely about comfort, it is about functionality. In a high-stress survival scenario, physical capability is your greatest asset. A debilitating toothache or an untreated injury can render a key family member useless when you need them most. Smart households are recognizing this vulnerability and are actively rotating a 6-month supply of trusted brands. They are prioritizing proper storage, keeping medications in cool, dry places away from humidity and light to ensure potency over time. Beyond stockpiling commercial pills, the truly prepared are diversifying their approach to pain management. There is a growing movement toward understanding natural alternatives and non-pharmaceutical interventions. We are seeing increased interest in traditional remedies, like willow bark tea, which contains salicin, a chemical similar to aspirin. Knowledge of physical therapies, and such as using cold compresses to reduce inflammation, or understanding how proper hydration can mitigate headache triggers, is becoming just as valuable as the medicine itself. One nurse in Colorado shared a compelling story of managing her father's arthritis during a week-long winter blackout using buffered aspirin from her emergency kit, at a time when local pharmacies were shuttered and delivery apps showed zero availability. The lesson is clear. Do not wait for the shelves to empty completely. Secure a few extra bottles during your next trip to a warehouse club like Costco or Sam's Club, where bulk purchasing offers better per-pill value. When the grid is down and help is hours or days away, the ability to control pain is a critical component of maintaining morale and order. 7. First aid's silent defenders, antiseptics. While the media often focuses on the scarcity of antibiotics, a more immediate and perhaps more dangerous shortage is occurring with everyday antiseptics. These are your first line of defense against infection, and they are quietly vanishing from store shelves. In late 2025, the CDC issued a stark warning that we are entering a post-antibiotic era, a statement that triggered a massive shift in consumer behavior. People are no longer waiting to get sick. They are aggressively seeking ways to prevent infections before they take hold. Consequently, staples like hydrogen peroxide, isopropyl alcohol, iodine tincture, and colloidal silver are in short supply. Google search data reveals that queries for natural infection control spiked over 210% last fall, reflecting a public that is increasingly anxious about medical self-reliance. Major retailers, including CVS and Walgreens, have responded to this panic buying by placing strict limits on the purchase of antiseptic wipes and sprays. The danger here is understated, but profound. When professional medical care is delayed or unavailable, a simple kitchen knife cut or a scrape from debris can escalate into a life-threatening infection with terrifying speed. Antiseptics are the barrier between a minor injury and a septic emergency. However, the utility of these items extends far beyond wound care, which is why they are disappearing so fast. Diluted hydrogen peroxide is an excellent sanitizer for kitchen surfaces when bleach is unavailable. Rubbing alcohol is crucial for disinfecting essential gear, from phone screens to thermometers and tools. So iodine is a powerhouse that can purify questionable water and treat fungal skin infections. Unlike prescription medications, these items are shelf-stable, legal to buy in bulk, and serve multiple critical functions in a grid-down scenario. Experienced preppers understand that the small bottles in the beauty aisle are insufficient. They are seeking out medical-grade versions and storing them properly. Light and air are the enemies of these chemical compounds. Hydrogen peroxide, for instance, turns into plain water if exposed to sunlight for too long. This is why you see it in dark brown bottles. The smart strategy involves buying gallon jugs of 70% isopropyl alcohol and bulk hydrogen peroxide from warehouse clubs or farm supply stores, often at half the price of pharmacy chains. But one survival medic in Tennessee reported using a 2% iodine solution to decontaminate seeds before sprouting them indoors during a long power outage, proving the versatility of these supplies. Stock up now, label your containers clearly, and distribute small kits across your vehicle, kitchen, and bug-out bag. In a world where a simple splinter could sideline you for weeks, having reliable antibacterial supplies is not paranoia. It is practical, essential medicine. 8. The protein problem. Shelf-stable meats and legumes. Protein is the fuel that powers human resilience. It provides the energy, strength, and cognitive sharpness required to keep going when systems fail. Currently, two of the most reliable and affordable sources of shelf-stable protein, canned beans and tuna, are disappearing from inventory at an alarming rate. Food banks across the United States are the canary in the coal mine, reporting a devastating 35% drop in donations of these specific staples since late 2025. Simultaneously, grocery stores in dense urban centers are seeing shelves cleared within hours of restocking. This scarcity is the result of a perfect storm where soaring consumer demand has collided with shrinking global supply. Agricultural reports indicate that severe droughts in North Dakota have decimated bean harvests, while tighter international fishing quotas have restricted the tuna supply significantly. The desperation is palpable in the retail sector, where theft of canned goods has surged by 58% in major cities like Chicago and Los Angeles. People understand the intrinsic value of these items. For the preparedness-minded individual, canned proteins are more than just a meal. They are a strategic asset. They offer complete nutrition that requires absolutely zero cooking fuel to prepare. A can of tuna or beans can be eaten cold, right out of the tin, providing immediate sustenance during a blackout or gas shortage. These items have an impressive shelf life, lasting 3 to 5 years, or even longer, if kept in a cool, dry environment. They do not require the energy-intensive refrigeration that fresh meat demands, making them ideal for long-term storage in basements or pantries. The versatility of these staples is also a key factor in their disappearance. A simple can of black beans mixed with rice and spices can transform into a morale-boosting hot meal that feeds a family. Tuna provides critical omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential for brain health and maintaining focus during high-stress situations. One family in Florida credited their survival during a 2-week grid-down scenario following Hurricane Helena to their hidden stash of tuna and chickpeas. They had no stove and no power, yet they remained fed and healthy using just a can opener. Smart stockpilers are bypassing expensive name brands in favor of store brands purchased in bulk at warehouse clubs. They rigidly apply the first-in, first-out rotation rule to ensure freshness. It is also vital to diversify your protein sources. Lentils, corned beef, sardines, and canned chicken add crucial variety to prevent appetite fatigue. In the economy of 2026, a single can of protein might soon be worth more than paper currency. 9. Powering the darkness, the battery shortage. We rarely think about batteries until the remote stops working or the lights go out. But in a true emergency, dead batteries can leave you blind, silent, and completely disconnected from the outside world. Right now, AA and AAA batteries are vanishing from shelves across America, a trend that is catching many off guard. Major retailers like Walmart and Target, and even specialized hardware stores, have begun rationing purchases, often limiting customers to just 2 packs. The drivers behind this shortage are complex. Lithium prices have skyrocketed by over 60% due to aggressive mining restrictions in South America. Simultaneously, the global demand for household emergency electronics, from weather radios to LED lanterns, has exploded following a wave of climate-driven blackouts in 2025. The Bureau of Labor Statistics notes that battery prices jumped nearly 28% in a single year, with out-of-stock notices becoming routine in 40% of surveyed retail locations. The critical mistake most households make is waiting until failure occurs to seek replacements. In a supply-constrained environment, this is a recipe for disaster. Smart preppers are proactive. They are stocking up on name-brand alkaline batteries like Duracell or Energizer, avoiding cheap generics that are prone to leaking and failing under stress. They treat their battery supply with the same seriousness as their food and water, testing their stock every 6 months with simple battery testers. Storage is equally important. Batteries should never be thrown loose into a junk drawer where they can short-circuit against other metal objects. Instead, they should be kept in original packaging or dedicated plastic organizers to ensure safety and longevity. One off-grid homesteader in Oregon shared her method for powering her critical communications gear. She maintains a hand-crank radio, headlamp, and no AA weather alert device using just 4 AA batteries that she rotates monthly. Her spares are kept in vacuum-sealed bags with silica gel packets to block humidity, which can drain charge even when the batteries are not in use. While rechargeable batteries seem like an eco-friendly solution, they become useless paperweights if the grid goes down for days or weeks and you lack solar charging capability. Quality alkaline batteries can hold power for up to 10 years if stored properly. In a crisis, your ability to see in the dark, signal for help, saw or listen to emergency broadcasts often hinges on these tiny cylinders. Do not wait for the storm to hit. Secure your power supply now, because when the world goes dark, those batteries are your lifeline to information and safety. 10. Liquid security, water purification. We live with the assumption that turning a tap will always result in clean, safe drinking water. However, aging infrastructure, environmental disasters, and grid failures are shattering that illusion. Bottled water is bulky, difficult to store in large quantities, and runs out quickly. This reality is why water purification tablets, small, lightweight, and incredibly effective, are quietly disappearing from shelves in 2026. The catalyst for this surge was an emerging contaminants advisory issued by the EPA in December 2025, which warned of new chemical pollutants and the fragility of municipal water systems. Following this, sales of purification tablets exploded by over 300%. Top-rated products on Amazon, such as potable aqua and aquatabs, now sell out within hours of being restocked. Many people still mistakenly believe that tap water will remain safe during a crisis. The truth is far more concerning. During floods, wildfires, or power grid failures, water pressure drops, allowing groundwater contaminants to seep into cracked pipes. Even treated water can become biologically unsafe within hours. Consuming contaminated water can lead to debilitating illness precisely when you need your strength the most. Purification tablets offer a robust solution to this problem. They are designed to kill bacteria, viruses, and protozoa within 30 minutes, by effectively turning sketchy creek water, rainwater, or questionable tap water into a drinkable resource. They require no heat, no bulky filters, and can fit comfortably in a pocket or glove compartment. The strategic value of these tablets cannot be overstated. Preppers are stashing them everywhere, in cars, bug-out bags, kitchen drawers, and office desks, because emergencies rarely happen when you are standing next to your main supply cache. A firefighter in Arizona recounted using tablets to purify melted snow during a week-long winter storm that isolated his neighborhood. Similarly, a mother in Louisiana relied on them to keep her family hydrated after hurricane floodwaters contaminated the local supply. When buying, it is crucial to select reputable brands that use chlorine dioxide or iodine and clearly list their active ingredients. Avoid cheap knockoffs with vague labeling. Store the tablets in their original foil packaging inside a cool, dry container to maximize their shelf life, which is typically 4 to 5 years. Don't wait for a boil water advisory to flash across your screen. By then, the stores will be empty. Securing a few hundred tablets now costs pennies per use and provides a silent insurance policy that guarantees your most basic survival need, clean water, is met no matter what happens to the grid. 11. The universal fix-it, heavy-duty adhesive tape. That iconic silver roll, duct tape, has long been the subject of jokes and makeshift repairs. But in 2026, it is quietly solidifying its status as one of the most valuable assets in any prepared household. When complex systems and modern conveniences fail, this simple, sticky tape becomes a universal repair kit, a first aid tool, and a crucial component for improvisation. The demand for high-quality duct tape has surged among a wide range of users, from self-reliant preppers and rural farmers to professional emergency responders. This spike in demand is causing significant supply issues, with hardware stores from Texas to Michigan reporting frequent and prolonged out-of-stocks on heavy-duty brands like Gorilla Tape and Nashua 357. The reason for its rising importance is its sheer versatility in a crisis. Duct tape can be used to seal a cracked window against a brutal winter storm, effectively patching a breach in your home's thermal envelope. It can repair a torn backpack on an evacuation route, preventing the loss of critical supplies. In a pinch, it can even be used to wrap blistered feet when hiking boots fail, or to secure a splint during a first aid emergency. The practical applications are endless and often life-saving. One evacuee from the California wildfires recounted using duct tape to seal the gaps around their car doors, creating a barrier against toxic smoke inhalation during a harrowing 12-hour gridlock escape. Another individual in Ohio managed to drastically reduce heat loss in their home during a polar vortex blackout by using layers of tape and plastic sheeting to insulate an attic hatch. However, It's critical to understand that not all duct tape is created equal. The cheap dollar store versions are a poor investment. They tend to dry out, lose their adhesive properties quickly, and peel apart, especially in humid conditions. For a reliable stockpile, you must invest in true duct tape, which features a durable polyethylene backing and a strong, rubber-based adhesive that can withstand stress and environmental changes. Proper storage is also key to its longevity. The tape should be stored upright in a cool, dark place. Extreme heat can soften the glue and make it messy, while cold can make the tape brittle and difficult to use. Stored correctly, a quality roll can remain fully functional for years. A pro tip for portability is to create smaller, more manageable rolls for your glove box, bug-out bag, and toolkit, as a full-size roll can be bulky and impractical for mobile use. 12. The foundation of food security: baking staples. The foundational elements of any pantry, flour and sugar, are currently facing a severe threat that jeopardizes household food security. The agricultural backbone that supplies these staples has been fractured by a combination of drought and disease. Wheat fields in Kansas and Oklahoma, the heart of America's breadbasket, were devastated by prolonged drought and a virulent strain of fungal blight in late 2025. Meanwhile, sugar beet farms in northern states like Minnesota and North Dakota suffered catastrophic crop losses due to unseasonable, hard frosts. The downstream effect has been immediate and severe. In just 6 months, the retail prices for flour and sugar have jumped by over 34%, and major grocery chains are experiencing regular stockouts that leave shelves bare for days. For the average person, this means more expensive baked goods. For the prepared individual, it represents a critical shortage of survival calories. Beyond their use in comfort foods like cookies and pancakes, these staples are essential for long-term survival.